Hi friends and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of cross stitch. I haven't done any cross stitch since I was probably about 9, and even then it was one of those ones that was made for absolute beginners. Like, the picture was drawn onto the fabric already and all you had to do was go over it with thread. But I was chatting to the Giddy Stitcher recently, and she let me know that she, along with Mary Ann Johnson 2020, were actually doing a cross-stitch start-along on Instagram. The idea being, everybody does a pattern from the company Satsuma Street, whose patterns are really awesome, by the way. You should totally check them out. I'll leave a link to them in the description. The Instagram post did say keep summer going, but I'm me. I have to be different. I'm doing this. Look at that little face. How could I not? As soon as I saw that, that was the one I was gonna do. All of the Halloween ones are really cute. Like I said, I have not done cross stitch since I was about 9, so I have got some supplies going. The pattern did say to use black paper, but I have trust issues. So I've gone with a fabric because I think it'll be a bit sturdier. This could go bad. It could go really well and I'll end up with a new little thing for the shelf. Either way, I think it's going to be a little bit of fun. So without further ado, let's get started. Right, I've got all my bits and bobs. There's some little snips, needle, got all my thread, got the pattern, fabric, and one of these. I've never actually used one of these before. If I remember rightly, the one I did when I was a kid, it was a little cat and it was already in a frame, so it was already kind of in something like this. So I've had a little play and I'm pretty sure I can figure out how it works, so that's not too bad. So I am going to pop this in here and then we shall make a start. Okay, that's now in. I've cut off the excess because don't want that flapping about. I also realised that I'd forgotten to get out some black thread, so that is fixed. This loopy thing actually I got for a couple of quid from a cheap shirt shop, and it came with this. I think the idea is it's to teach you to do some basic stitches and stuff in embroidery. So it looks like it comes with all the pieces. So if that's something that you'd like to see, let me know in the comments and I'll do a video trying to make this. See how successful I am. Also, while you're there, giving this video a little like would be very much appreciated. It really does help the algorithm and tells YouTube that you want to see more videos like this. Right, onto this. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. I think that's going to be the smartest way to do it. So that means starting with the cone. And for that I've got this colour. I'm going with these two. Right, it says to use 2 strands. So I need to separate this out. I don't even know if this is the correct thread. It looks quite thin. I got it from Amazon. At least if it's too thin, that's easier to fix than if it's too thick. What I'll do is I'll do it with 2 strands. This does look really thin. Because it does look like it's going to be too thin. Yeah, I'm going to double it. So I'm going to use a technique that I have seen online where you thread this end and you keep the loop on this end, and then you use that to tie, like, secure it at the back. I'm going to turn it upside because there's a tiny bubble there, so I'm going to start at the bottom here. So I'm going to pull that through and secure it like that. So apparently I've got to do 3 of these. I think I definitely made the right choice doubling it up, because this looks more like it does on the picture. I'm just going to get my guide, because the great thing about these patterns is you get a little guide with it. So I'm just going to refer to that to see what I've got to do next. Because ideally what I don't want to be doing is swapping out colours all the time and like finishing off like one thread, changing to another colour and then going back to this thread. I want to just kind of do as much as I can with one, if that makes sense. I'm actually going to put a tick next to each one of these lines so that I know when I've done it. Okay, so I ripped it all out and started again, purely because once I'd got to this point, I realised that using 2 strands of thread folded over, which meant 4 for each one, I was going to run out of thread pretty quickly. So I've reduced it down and it doesn't look too bad. I was worried that it was going to have loads of like really big gaps and it'd be really like sparse and look a bit rubbish. But I'm actually quite liking the way it looks. It's not too bad. So comparing it to the picture as well, it looks like my thread wasn't too thin. So I'm just going to carry on and finish the rest of this bit, and then I will get back to you when I am putting the detail on with this colour. Okay, so I've done the main part of the cone. I just need to do the details now in this darker brown. On here, it's got little beads on it. I'm not 100% sure if it wants me to just put the beads on or whether it wants me to actually stitch there so that it's not like just black underneath it. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is stitch it using the darker colour and then put the bead on top, just because I want that little bit of security of having something underneath there when I put the bead on. I really like how this is looking so far. Only thing is, I do think I made a bit of a miscalculation with the colours of the threads, because the one I used for the detailing work doesn't show up like that great. It's a bit too similar. We live and learn though. I could always make another one with more contrasting thread at some point. now I need to move on to the little melty pumpkin friend. For that, I've got these two. I've got this one for the kind of main body, and then this one for the detailing. Fingers crossed these are different enough to contrast against the cone. They're showing up very similar on camera, but in person these are quite a bit different. Okay, so I've only actually done a little tiny bit and I've already started to confuse myself. So I am going to move on to the interior parts here. Do as much of that as I can and basically alternate between the colours. I think trying to do all one colour and then swap into the next colour is just going to be too complicated for this because of all the kind of shading pieces. So yeah, I think that's going to be the best way forward from now. Right, I ended up pulling a load of stuff out because I wasn't happy. This colour here ended up being lighter than this. It didn't look right at all. I know on camera these two colours look like they're pretty much identical, but I promise you in real life you can see the difference. The other thing is the deeper colour that goes in between these for like the shadowy areas. I don't have anything that works for that. The orange that I was originally using is too close to this. And then I've got a red, but that's too red. So what I've decided to do is take a strand from the orange and a strand from the red and combine them. And I'm hoping that that is going to give me the kind of effect that I want. Okay, so as you can see, I did end up doing all one colour. Just because once I got to this part here, I found that it wasn't too bad to follow the pattern. So I thought I'll just get all those bits done. What I need to do now is block in all this stuff. And I'm thinking what might make it easier for me to do is if I do the eyes, nose and mouth first. That way I know that any blank squares are the pale orange and I can just kind of go at my leisure. Okay, so this is where I am up to. I think I've made some pretty good progress with it so far. Next thing I need to do is the eyeball on the top. I went searching yesterday for some sequins and some beads, and none of the shops near me that sell crafts have got any. So I've had to order some online and hopefully, fingers crossed, they will be coming today. One thing I have discovered through doing this little project so far is this is yet another one of those activities that I really like doing. I get a lot of satisfaction out of doing it, and I like being able to see the image gradually appearing. But it doesn't half do my back in. Like, oh yeah. Not good for the whole pain thing. I think I'm gonna have to find a new kind of position to do it, because I've been doing it kind of sat upright like I usually do sewing things, and I think the problem is I'm gradually hunching over, so I'm thinking it might be a reclining project, so kind of lying head propped up on the couch sort of thing. That's what I do when I'm doing crochet, and I find that really, really helpful, like, or lying in bed, that kind of thing. I kind of put it into the same bracket as like regular sewing, so that's why I was kind of doing the same sort of thing that I do with hand sewing, but with that I need to like be able to pin the fabric to the arm of the chair or something and sit up and keep tension on it. With this it's not the same, so I'm thinking more of a crochet position is going to be more suitable. Anyway, I'm going to crack on with this, got to do a little eyeball, and I'm hoping to get this finished today. Little side note, I know on Instagram I said that I was going to dye my hair purple. It was purple. There is evidence that it is purple. The video that is up on my Coffee account, my hair is purple in that. It lasted precisely one wash, and now it is kind of blue and turquoise with a little bit of purple underneath. So yeah, they can wait a bit, let my hair recover from the bleach, and then redo it. And using a different brand this time. Directions is usually really good. I don't get why it's just washed out pretty much instantly. But yeah, if you're the kind of person who likes to dye your hair funky colours, what kind of brands do you use? And I'll give them a go. See if I can get a much better purple than this. Now that the actual cross-stitch design is finished, I've got to add details to it. So there's some little eyebrows that need to go on, there's some lines in the iris that need to go on, and then there's a load of beads and sequins. So supplies came. Look how tiny these are. I don't think I've ever seen beads this small before. We have plenty of sequins. I think we only actually need them in two colours, just black and green. But we have plenty for other projects now. And then we have these longer beads as well. So we need the sequins for the eyes of the little pumpkin. We need a sequin in the middle of the eye there. We need beads for the hundreds and thousands, and there's little beads in there. I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. Considering I haven't done cross-stitch in so long, and this was my first time doing a PDF pattern. My previous experience with cross-stitch always had the image printed onto the fabric, so it was kind of cheating a little bit. And you know what, considering it was my first time and considering the fibro fog that I get, I'm so pleased with this. And I only really made one little mistake that's like visible, which was that bit's a bit too far over. Just a little miscalculation, like when lining things up. But you know what? It's fine. It's absolutely fine. And I love it with all the little sequins on and the little beads and stuff. It's so cute, and I love his little face. I'd mentioned on Instagram that his face was one of the things that drew me to this pattern, and it still stands. I still think it's super, super cute. I'm eager to do more of these now. Like, I've got the bug. So if anybody has any recommendations for patterns they think might appeal to me, then do let me know in the comments. I'm probably going to be back to a sewing video next week because I'm doing some stuff with the theatre, which should be fun. If you enjoyed this video, doing all the YouTubey things will be very much appreciated. Leave me a like, comment, share. If you'd like to see more content like this, then do press that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so you'll be notified next time I upload a video. I do my very best to upload a new video every Friday. Thanks very much for watching, and YouTube is telling me that you might enjoy this video right here. See you next time. Bye!